So if you're looking to create a pop-up form in Klaviyo for your Shopify store, Klaviyo makes it really simple to do. It's definitely not difficult. Today's video, I'm going to walk you through how to set up a pop-up form using Klaviyo, using some of the templates they have, and kind of give you some of the best practices that you can use for your brand. Before we get started, my name is Coronado. I'm the founder and owner of Pro Emailers, where we help e-com brands generate $25,000 to $150,000 of additional monthly revenue using email marketing. So if you're an e-com brand looking to get started in email marketing, or maybe you already have email marketing implemented, but you're just not seeing the results you want, reach out. We definitely love to help. With that being said, let's get started. All right, so now we're in our Klaviyo account. As you can see, this is going to be the home screen, or we call it the dashboard. What you want to do is once you're on the dashboard, you want to scroll over to the top left. You're going to see a couple of different options. You're going to have home, which is the dashboard. You're going to have campaigns, flows. Where we want to go to create this pop-up form is we're going to go to website. And off to the right, there's a drop down. We're going to click the drop down and we're going to go to sign up forms. This is where you create the pop-up form. It's super simple. Once you're in here, you're going to go to the top right. There's going to be create form. Click that. And you have two options. You can create a brand new form from scratch. You have image assets already created that you want to use, or you can use something that Klaviyo already has built out, which for somebody that's just getting started, that's what I recommend doing. Just use a template. It's super simple. They already done the hard work for you. And if you're just beginning, this is where you want to start. So let's go ahead and scroll down and look for some templates that we can use as a pop-up form for our Shopify store. So what I think might be something super simple and what I like to use a lot are these engagement type of pop-up forms. An engagement pop-up form is where a user on site has to engage with the pop-up form, answer a question before they actually submit their email address. And the reason we do this because right now in 2026, most users are already familiar with the generic pop-up form. Give me your email address and I'll give you 10% off. You'll get it in your inbox. But we want to keep our users engaged with our brand. We want to make our brand stand out from the rest. So what we want to do is we want to use an engagement pop-up form. So I'm going to click this one here. This is just a random one. There's multiple in here that you could use. They have some that are like this. This is an example of where you could have like a mystery discount and they would have to select. They would get a discount inside, but they'd have to provide their email address, different things like that. So actually what I'm going to use is I'm going to use this one. This is pretty simple. Let's click this and we're going to change the name here. I'm just going to call this Pro Emailers because that's my agency. We're going to call this a standard pop-up form. Easy. And then the next step you have to remember to do here is you have to assign this pop-up form to a list that you've already created in Klaviyo. This is where once the email address is collected in the pop-up form, this is where that email address is going to be stored. So I've already created a list. The list I'm going to use is a Shopify test list. So we're going to select that as the place to store all of these email addresses that we capture on site. We're not going to be doing SMS today, so let's just go ahead and hit create the form. Now, once we're in here, this is what the dashboard looks like for your form creation. This is already done. It's super simple. You have something that's going to populate for your desktop, and you have something that's going to populate for your mobile device. The reason we have two is because you're going to notice that you do not want to have a big image asset and copy side by side on mobile because it'll really shrink down. So the reason we do this is that way it's only copy, and that way a user gets the information and can subscribe on the device. Makes it a lot easier for conversions. With that being said, you can actually make updates to these templates to match your brand. You can change the font, the color, the background, the image assets, where you place these buttons. There's all sorts of things that you can do here already built into the system, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel by creating something from scratch. So let's go ahead and walk you through this really quick. It doesn't take long. So I'm going to show you the style section. The style section is where you're actually going to create a lot of the width, a lot of the background colors, and how you're going to use image assets in here. So you can do a few things. I like to keep it exactly how the pop-up already came in as a template. And I want to change the background color. Let's just say to match my brand, Pro Emailers, we're going to go all the way dark black. So now the entire background color for desktop and for mobile have changed to black. So the next step that you might want to do is you might actually want to change the image asset to something that works for your brand. Let me go ahead and grab something I have. I'm going to click on the image asset and then I'm going to hit replace. And you have the ability to upload from your desktop. I already have stuff in here somewhere. I'm going to find it really quick and fast forward and jump to that. So I'm going to use a random image. It might not fit perfectly. I'm just going to use this for an example. I'm going to select something I already have in here. And this is the image asset that populated. So what I could do is I could try to change the background color. Now that I'm looking at it, this doesn't look right. I could change the background color to a white maybe, or maybe I can try to match the color that I have in my image asset. So what I'll do is I'll go back to my styles, and I'm going to change the background color. Let's just go to white. I think that would look better if I just did white. Now that I have everything changed to white on the background, I want to change my colors. So let's just change the color of the copy that we have on the pop-up form. And the way you would do that here is actually really simple. You highlight the text and then you just hover over text color. Let's change this. Let's go to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to go to black. That's my color. And then I'm also going to change this color as well. So I just double click that. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's how I count for my hex values. But nonetheless, it's super simple to do and it's done. Now you could change the button colors as well. So you would just click on the button. You could change the text color. You could change the fill color. Let's go ahead and change the fill color. Just get crazy. We'll change the fill color to that. The text color is already black. I think it looks okay. And then we'll do the same thing here. Let's give it a little bit of a different look. Let's just go ahead and call the background color black. And let's give the text 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 a white color. I don't want that to pop as much as I do for the offer. Now, you'll notice everything that I've done has already changed the color for the mobile device. So we don't have to do much here. It's already done for us. The last thing I would say we want to do is adjust the copy and adjust the fonts. You can do that really simple. So if I just click here, I can adjust my font. I don't mind that, but I like Poppins. That's what I use for my brand. So let me select everything and select Poppins. There we go. That's the new font. That's going to match my brand. And that's really it, guys. So that's like the first step in this whole process of building out a pop-up form. It's just creating the offer. Like if we have, let's just say 15% off, then I would say get 15% off your first order. Claim, let's change the copy here. Claim 15% off. There we go. Let's try again. Did it not take? 15% off. There we go. And the reason this is an engagement piece is because it's asking the user to engage, asking them a question. Get 15% off your first order. Claim 15% off or no thanks. This gives them an option. Now, if you look up here to the top, these are what we call sequence steps. So initially you have the first part of this whole pop-up form. It's called a teaser. And the teaser, once you click this, you're going to see it's off to the left here. You can adjust these colors just like you do everything else. So you can change the color of the teaser by changing the background. We're going to go with a crazy color and let's select that color. And then now we're going to change the text color to black. I want it to stand out a little bit more on that green background and done. And now for an example of what this teaser would look like on your website, imagine this is actually your website. It's going to give you a version of what this would look like here. So we have this as the website on the desktop and this is your site on mobile. Your teaser would hang to the left here. It would hang to the left on your mobile. There's different type of teasers and you can adjust those and adjust the location of those teasers. They don't have to stay here. So right now it's a rectangular shape. I can make it a circle, 20% off. I can put it down in the corner. I actually like that. It actually looks pretty cool. But you can do different things there and you can adjust where it lives. So if we said it's a circle, we don't want it to be at the bottom. Maybe you want it to be on the right. You would just select right here and now it's on the right side. So you have a lot of options on things that you can do for this teaser. The display settings show after form is closed. So your pop-up form will pop up usually after 5 seconds of a user being on the site. It'll pop up. And then after the form is closed, it'll stay here. So you'll still have this information here. It will not populate until your form pops up and then they close the form. So if they close the form and don't provide an email address, there's still something here lingering that they it still catches their eye and they can actually go back in and give you their information so they can go in and get your offer. But with that being said, that's really super simple. This is how it looks for the teaser. Now this is the micro commitment or the engagement piece of the form. Your very next step is actually going to be your email capture. So we would do this here. We would pretty much just say, this is going to be my email capture, and this is the opt-in. Since we've changed a few things, what I like to do is I like to just go ahead and delete this step, and then I would clone the step where we already have the graphics and the messaging, the fonts, and the colors already adjusted to us. So I would do that, and then I would call this email capture, clone this step. So now that we're in the email capture section, this is the next step after they've used their micro commitment or they've engaged saying they want 15% off. Only thing we need to do here is adjust what these buttons are doing. So right now, this button is actually going to be a submitted form button. What I need to do is make sure that this button is going to stay the same, where they claim 15% off. I would leave that the same, and I would remove this no thanks button. So that's been removed. Now we're missing one piece that's very crucial when it comes to actually capturing email. We need somewhere for them to actually be able to input their email. So we're going to drag this input email in here. Now we have a space for their email. So let's just go ahead and give this a label, and we're going to call it email. And you're going to see that it does populate. Let me zoom in a little bit more. It does populate in the copy here. We don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually hide that label. So all we need is really enter your email address. I don't ever change this placeholder text because we don't have to. You could get creative. You could just say, give me that email, damn it, or whatever you want to put in there. You can do any of those things. I don't touch it. I leave it as is. Now, next things that we want to do is I think this is just a little bit too big as far as what we have going on here. So I'm just going to bring in the left and right padding. I'm going to probably do it at about 40 pixels left and right. I think that's good enough. And what I'm going to do now, just so I can match the theme of this button so it doesn't look off, I can do two things. I can left align this if you wanted to, which I don't recommend because it would look odd from your first one. What I would do is I would just increase the size of this button. So we're going to go full width, and we're going to actually add some width on that button. So right now it's currently set at 140 pixels of padding left and right. I'm going to adjust the button to match exactly what we put here, maybe a little bit less. So right now I have 30 pixels left and right of padding on the email capture portion. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Looks too big to me. Let's see. I'm going to click this over here. It actually doesn't look too big. I wouldn't mind that at all. I could leave that just as is. And what we could do is we could just have them click that, and that's a form submission. So what I would do is I would leave it as is like this. This looks great to me. And once they hit submit, claim my 15% off, they would go on to the next step in the sequence, which could be SMS if you wanted to. We're not going to do that for this step because you get the idea of creating a form, but I'm going to delete that. So now we have a full pop-up form that is ready to rock and roll. So let's look at the beginning. This is the teaser. This is how your teaser is going to look. Let me back out of here just a tad bit. On mobile and on desktop. It could be left, right, center, wherever you want it. I'm going to put it at the left. Let's just leave it there. And now we're going to use a micro commitment. So this is where get 15% off your first order, claim 15% off. If you select yes, it's going to take you to the next step. If you select no thank you, it's going to immediately close out the form. It'll close it out and they won't be brought up with this anymore. The only place it'll be is on the left side with your teaser. They can actually go back to it and open it back up and submit their email if they want to. Now, the next step is the email capture piece. I think this looks fantastic. So we can leave it just like this and you're all set there. If you needed to change the colors, because I actually didn't even check to what that looked like. I'm pretty sure it looks fine. But you can adjust colors as well, no big deal. This is gonna actually take you to your next step, submit form, and it's gonna show it a list submitted to Shopify Test Store. And that's it. You have no more steps. So once you're all done with this, you can hit publish and it would go live as long as you have your Klaviyo and Shopify store connected. And then immediately you go back to your website and you could refresh and it would automatically start populating and capturing those email addresses and throwing them into the list that you selected for your email capture. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions for me, please leave them down in the comments below. I will gladly answer them. Anything you have, no question's a dumb question. Let me know. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.